I want to find the integration from 1 to 0 of this equation, and I want to use u equals to 1 minus x squared. So firstly, I want to differentiate this. Du on dx is going to equal to negative, take the 2 down, 2x. Yeah? Now in this case, so you get switch those two, and you get du on negative 2x equals to dx. Now in this case, we don't need to change this to work out what x equals to, because the x there will cancel with that, but we do need to change the limits. So for x equals to 1, you get u equals to 1 minus 1, which is just 0. Whereas here, when x equals to 0, you get u equals to 1 minus 0, so that equals to 1. So now I can substitute everything in. So firstly, I think it's a good idea maybe to start off with substituting the limits so you remember it, because easiest to forget, let's do it first. So substituting in limits, go from 0 to 1. So don't make a 1 to 0. You got to keep that. So the 1 becomes 0 and the 0 becomes 1 down the bottom here. Keep that format. Change this to square root u. Change the dx to du on negative 2x. X and x just cancel. So you get square root u on negative 2. So I can just take that negative half out the front here. I want to make it 1 on 0. Now remember, if I'm changing something, so a to b of fx dx, and I want to change the limits to b on a, it just becomes negative. So I multiply by a negative. So remember, when you're flipping the limits, you've got to multiply by a negative 1. That's exactly what I'm going to do here. So I change it from 1 to 0, but that multiplied by negative becomes half, just like that. And now it's just going to be simple integration to work out the answer. So we have square root u. We can just make that into u to the power of a half. So when we integrate that, you get u to the power of a half plus 1. So that's just 3 on 2. And multiplied by 1 on 1.5. And that's multiplied by the half out the front already there. And because that 2 goes up to the top there, it just cancels with that 2. So that's why we're left with a third. Now 3 on 2, because we're used to this being square root and the question gives it us in that format, we have to change this back into square root format. So this is the index and 2 would be the root there, okay? Now I just need to substitute it in. So 1 like that, 0 like that, very easy. That will just become 1, won't it? So essentially it will just be 1 on 3 as your final answer. So exactly the same thing for before. You just need to work out the new limits. And I think the other important thing here was, can you see how down here we change from 0, 1 to 1, 0? So remember, that means we have to multiply it by -1. Yeah? Great.